was the most alarming thing that came out of the review, Leppa?
Every week there's something to work on. I don't know if you call it alarming. I guess if you're pessimistic by nature, it can make you feel worse than what it is. But realistically, every club's got things to work on, and we had a lot of first possession and lost a lot of hard ball, which normally means you've got it, you're trying hard, but you're fumbling. So that's probably in short the easiest way to explain it.
Who's likely to come in for Rocky? Is Zach O'Brien one to come in?
Yeah, Zach's a chance. We're also looking at our forward structure a bit, whether we need more tools. So we've got to discuss that today at match committee. So there's still a few days, obviously, before we play, but we'll train today and see how that goes.
How is he now?
Rocky,
Yeah,
I think he's all right. I mean, obviously, the worst part of the pain's over for him. It's just now a matter of him just recovering and being able to get all the movements back. I think that's the number one thing with ribs. You just got to make sure you can do the movements, and it may take a few weeks, may take longer.
So it's not restricted for a
Well,
while,
yeah, it will. It will. Yeah.
So it's one of those things that take a long time.
It can. I mean, often you play with protective braces with those things for a month or so as well when you're ready to play, just in case, so you don't get extra pressure on it. So, look, the medicos are all over that. We'd love to have him back sooner rather than later. He's naturally tough, so if I'm tipping anything, he'll be back a week earlier than expected. But you can't put a guy out there that's not ready.
Yeah, have you said a lot of captain, or are you going to rotate that?
Richie will captain this week, and we'll rotate it between the remaining captains we've got left. Senzo Pearce is out as well, so those boys will rotate that.
Adelaide did you no favours on Sunday. They smashed North Melbourne. You expect them to bounce back very strongly?
Well, I guess both teams need to bounce back, particularly in that contested area. I mean, I think Adelaide were very good, and as was Collingwood. I mean, that's sometimes need to give credit to the opposition for their output. And both teams this week had average games that probably only played one good quarter of footy. Both coaches would probably walk away with the same thought processes from the weekend's game.
Do you think that, on reflection, that the jump in intensity from pre-season to the real premiership matches sort of played what you're doing?
Possibly. You could say that. Lift in pressure, lift in crowd, lift in all sorts of external things as well that we have to deal with in game to game. But good learning experience.
Take some momentum out of that last match.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope we take that momentum through, obviously, because it was important that we finished the game well, and we did. And we're 10 points down with 6 minutes to go. We had a real opportunity to snatch the win as well. So, from an ordinary performance, so there's still some positives. If you talk about 1 year to the next, and I mentioned it after the game, we lose that game for over 50 points last year. So these are the little wins we need to keep having within our group. They're not big wins that people take notice of on the outside, but we have to make sure we continually grab onto these little wins. When we're down, we actually found a way to find another leg.
Speaking of positives, Leppitsch, 2 more blokes re-signed, taking about 18 or 19 blokes who've re-signed, and both Queenslanders as well.
Good, no, it's good with Jono and Clay, so it's terrific, and Clay's proving a really good player now at halfback. So it is exciting. I mean, I think everyone knows from the exterior what we're trying to build and what we're trying to do, and that part's great. The on-field performances will have its ups and downs at times, but we're very clear what we want to do there. It's just making sure we can perform, players and coaches, on a weekly basis.
And you mentioned that forward structure. How important do you think it is to have a bit more support, I guess, for the next day up there this weekend?
Yeah, I think it's something we need to look at, because Dan needs some help. He's only a young boy, and so he does need some help down there. We've got pretty much 2 ruckmen, so we don't really have a big, strong, full-time forward. That's just the facts of the matter at the moment on our list. It's sort of that right age, so it's just the way it is, unfortunately.
How did you think the 2 rucks worked last week, and do you think you can see one working as a forward?
We're going to have to have one as a forward. I think that's just the reality. I mean, I think we'll mix up their roles for 20% of it, but the large majority they're going to play one as a key, one as a ruckman. That's just what has to happen.
With Rocky going down and Richie having an impact when he went into the middle last week, it's attempted to start him there this week.
Good question, Pricey. It's no doubt that Richie's last quarter does throw a lot of questions around match committee. No doubt. The fact that we've got limited halfback resources doesn't help that either. So we've got a lot of headaches at the moment. But in a way, it's a positive too. I think if we can get this up and going, will be hard to sort of scout as well, because we've got a good depth of guys that can run through half forward to midfield. So I think, yes, we can use it to our advantage, but you're also trying to supply a little bit of consistency for the playing group as well.
Was there a change in the
No, resilience was pretty good last year, I thought. I mean, I think that's one thing we try and do is keep the boys up and about, and the fact that we finished the year strong last year shows that they had some good resilience to keep going when the wins and losses were mounting up, or more the losses were mounting up. So I'm hopeful we can still keep that this year, because I think we're in better shape than we were this time last year. Well, I'm sure. Of course, no, I'm not surprised they're favourites. I mean, they in a preliminary final last year, and they're playing on their home deck. I think those two things combined makes them favourites, irrespective of who won and lost last weekend. So the challenge is with us to try and bring it.